Hello, my guest this morning is making his first appearance on the show, but he's no stranger to the MMA community. He is the TKO Featherweight champion, TJ The Truth Laramie. Hello, sir. Good morning. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Thank you for asking. So, what have you got planned for the day? I know it's early in the morning.
I already actually got my morning cardio out of the way and grappled today this morning, and then I'll be off to work, and then I got some pad work, and then back to work. Luckily, my gym and my where I work is like right next to each other, so or about just down the street, so I can go back and forth pretty easily. And and then after work, I'll just be hitting some hot yoga for a little active recovery.
Nice. So, you already got one in. I'm curious, where do you work at?
I'm a barber actually, so I cut hair.
Really? Okay. How long have you been
Yeah.
doing that?
For about 3.5 years, I want to say now. I've been cutting hair. 4 years almost.
Okay, so for those at home that are watching and don't know how old you are, how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
Okay. So you started cutting hair young and you started MMA young, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So like I pretty much knew what I wanted to do from a young age, just like cut hair and fight. These are the two things I like to do the most, and luckily I can make I'm pretty good at both, and I can make money doing both too. So works out.
That's great, man. That's great. So how did you get interested in cutting hair?
Um, I always like styling my own hair. I liked getting my own haircuts, going to the barber shop all the time. And I just like I even just watching YouTube videos online and stuff like always interested in like hair and stuff like that. So eventually I bought a pair of clippers and then I just started cutting my friends in my basement, and then eventually I got good enough and moved on to a shop. So how it went down.
Nice. Can you cut your own hair?
No, no, no. I wouldn't cut my own
You wouldn't
hair.
try that? Wouldn't
No,
risk
no,
it?
I still like getting my own haircuts anyway.
Nice. So how did you get started in MMA?
Basically, when I was 13, my dad, I just moved back in with my dad, and like he introduced me to the sport in general, so I was always kind of like a fan of it, always watching the fights and stuff, and then always watching the fights, and I'd always been kind of athletic kid and like a good competitive edge too. So when I tried the sport, I kind of tried it as a hobby at first. I didn't really think I'd be able to take it like super far or anything. But like I started getting really good, and then I started to get a crazy passion for the sport. Like I was like addicted to it. Like I was training all the time, like every day, at such a young age. And like you couldn't keep me away from the gym. Like I didn't know, like there was at one point where I think I went to the gym like over like 200 days in a row or something stupid like that when I was in high school, and I was just going like crazy. And then I train a lot smarter now, but and I still have that passion for it. But back then, it was just I don't know, it was just like so addictive sport for me. So that's why I feel like I progressed so fast. And another reason too, I was competing almost every other weekend in grappling or a striking match or whatever it might have been.
Absolutely. What was your first discipline in martial arts?
I started more of at a kickboxing school, and I was kind of just like teaching myself jujitsu with my brother on YouTube and stuff like that, like just learning some moves here and there, and then eventually I moved on to a school where it showed a lot more stuff, where it showed everything, where I'm at now, MTC, and then from there, I now I cross train between MTC and Michigan Top Team in the States, and also like I'll take my training camps elsewhere too. Like I've been to Milwaukee to go to Rufus Sport a few times. I was in Vegas for 2 weeks training with Jeremy Kennedy at the UFC EPI. I was training with him also in BC at his gym Revelation, and WKX and some other places too there that were really good. And yeah, it's just been a great experience getting in rounds with like good guys and stuff like that. I've gotten the work in for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I talked to Jeremy Kennedy not too long ago, and he had nothing but good things to say about you when you guys were out in Vegas together. Was it pretty cool to get
Yeah.
that work in with him and, well, some of the other guys that are in Vegas as well?
Oh, for sure. Like going to Extreme Couture, all that stuff too. There's tons of UFC guys, tons of Bellator guys there. training with Jeremy alone was really good, to get that like that competition in the room, someone who makes you have to work and have to like push you every workout, so like just watching him was good. Just training with him was bringing my game up just based on a competitive standpoint, like I didn't want to let him get the better of me. At the same time, I was there to like help him for his fight. So like, and he doesn't want me to like not give my 100%. He wants my 100%. So he has the best training for his fight possible. So like I felt that pressure that I had to bring the best I could at every session, because he had me there for that reason.
So, being from Canada, are you a big GSP fan?
I like him as a fighter, but he's definitely not my favorite fighter for sure.
Who's your favorite fighter?
I'd say my favorite fighters right now. My all-time favorite fighter for sure is Frankie Edgar. Definitely my all-time favorite. Joanna was my favorite for a long time too. I liked her when she beat Claudia Gadelha for the first time, right before she won the belt. That was when I first watched her, and I was like, "Damn, this girl's good." But like lately, she's kind of like looks like fame got to her head a little bit, and like you could see it in her last fight. It just seemed like she didn't go in there with the intent to fight, like for a fight, which is like totally not her. She's the opposite. Like she's had like her orbital broken in a fight before and pushed through. She's had her nose broken in a fight and pushed through before, and like in the last fight, you just couldn't see that at all. She got dropped and tapped out. It was just weird to see. And then Khabib for sure is my favorite. I just like that dominant, top grindy style that he brings, but he brings it to like another level of like finishing ability with it. Like I feel like he could be finishing these guys if he really wanted to, but like he gets some sort of joy out of like pounding people out like that.
Absolutely, for sure he does. Khabib time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, who do you got? Obviously, I'm sure you're pulling for Frankie. How do you see that fight going with him and Ortega?
It's like I think it's a really good matchup for Frankie, like in the sense that Ortega has good striking for sure, but like I feel like he's a little too slow for Frankie for sure on the feet, and I feel like Frankie's grappling is like so MMA focused, and his grappling defense is so good. Like you never see this guy lose a grappling position. I've never seen him lose um, a grappling position in MMA yet, since like for like like a long time. Like the only time I've seen him lose a grappling position was probably like the first Gray Maynard fight where he lost by decision, way before he even fought for a title. But other than that, like he's taking guys down, he's dominating on top. He's fought really good jiu-jitsu guys, like and like if he can get Ortega down and just grind him out because it's only a 3-round fight. So if he can just grind him out for those 3 rounds, he has a good advantage there, which I think he'll look to take it to the ground for sure in this fight, or take it super good on the ground. But I don't know. Like I've just never seen Frankie get like really dominated or even like put in danger when he's been on top like that.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one, man. You're coming off of a big win yourself, winning the TKO featherweight title. It seemed like after the fight you were kind of overwhelmed with a bit of emotion. Was that just sort of the realization that all the hard work was worth it?
Yeah, that's basically like what it comes down to when that kind of stuff happens after a fight. I've had it before, like when I won my first amateur title, like it was like that too. Like especially for the amount of time I put in and stuff like that. Like what goes into like the weight cut, what goes into just training, all that stuff. Like I sacrifice a lot, especially being young. To like be able to do what I do. It's a privilege and like, but I make the most of it and. Yeah, like I make the most of it. This like being able to do what I do, and it's just like you said, when the hard work comes through like that, and then I got the belt wrapped around my waist. It's like I've only been thinking about this for the last 10 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it was that I was training for this fight, and it's finally happening. Like it's over. Like I can finally sit back and relax and enjoy what I did. It's like that's the best part for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you mentioned your younger brother earlier, and I know he was on that same card with you. Things didn't go his way that night. Did that weigh on you at all when you were heading into your own fight?
No, not at all. Like, what happens in his fights doesn't really affect me too much. Like in the back, I was kind of getting a little bit of adrenaline rush and stuff like that. Like watching whatever happened. Like it kind of like isn't nice to see, but at the same time, I got my job to do. I got my career to focus on, and like this is a selfish sport, right? So regardless if he's my brother or not, at the end of the day, I got to worry about myself.
Yeah, MMA is a selfish sport and it can also kind of be a lonely sport. Is it kind of nice
Hmm.
having your brother with you to sort of have your back?
Yeah, like like coming up and training with him, definitely it was good, to have someone like do all these competitions with me and everything. And but even now like it's still like kind of just me, like I do my own workouts, like I train in the States, stuff like that, like I kind of like strayed off a little bit from like whatever training we were doing before, like I've kind of found new avenues, new opportunities of training and all that stuff, like I've taken it to a different level and like it's just like it's definitely lonely, but like I got people around me everywhere I go, at every gym, so it works out. And like even like training at Michigan, like I train in Michigan or like Cody Stamen will come here to Canada to train sometimes, so like I always got someone that I feel like is working just as hard as I am.
Awesome. You're good boys with Cody, is that right?
Yeah, yeah, like Cody's a good friend of mine. Comes here and trains in Canada sometimes with me and my coach Dino. Does a lot of bag work, some striking drills, stuff like that. And then I'll go over there and I'll get some wrestling in on Thursdays and sparring on Fridays and stuff like that. So like I'll go there twice a week usually.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, he's got a big one coming up against Bryan Caraway this weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's gonna be very good opportunity for him, and he's gonna definitely make the most of it. I feel like he's gonna dominate that fight.
Well, you've got Joao Nogueira next. Were you disappointed at all that you didn't get a rematch with Alex Morgan?
Personally, it doesn't really matter to me at this point, I really do want a rematch maybe after this fight, or at some point, before I make it to the UFC, because at the end of the day, that's going to come eventually, whether he wants to rematch me or not. And he keeps getting injured, so we'll see how it plays out on that part. But Joao Nogueira is a way better fight for me. Um, like just to look at the record, 25-7. That's that's a big record for a 20-year-old to be fighting, and I get to go there and put a stomp on this guy. And he's been fighting for, I think, since 2005 or something like that. Since I've been 8 years old, this guy's been pro. So like like it's just it's good to fight some international competition, and I feel like it's such a good matchup for me, just stylistic wise. And like I would take this fight over Alex Morgan fight any day. This guy just is coming off a win over Alex Morgan. Like I come out there and I bang this guy out, and then it solidifies. Like the last fight with Alex Morgan is what it is. Everyone knows that it was stopped early. Everyone knows that it was a terrible stoppage by the ref. I've even had the ref message me on Facebook personally and tell me that he knew he messed up, but he couldn't go back on what his decision, in the cage. Once you wave it off, you wave it off. But it is what it is. Like I have the screenshot of that message too, but it is what it is. Like I'll fight him eventually, or if not, maybe I'll make it like I'll be going down a different path than Alex Morgan. Maybe Alex Morgan's gonna take a dive and I won't, and I'm gonna keep going, like it doesn't matter who I fight at this point, I'm fighting for my career. So like if I can get that rematch, that'd be great. But if I got better matchups along the way, then that's what I'll take. Joao Nogueira is a way better for my career overall as a whole, And then Alex Morgan's what, 7-3? Why would I fight someone who's 7-3 when I can fight someone who's 25-7 who hasn't lost in his last 10 fights? Against great competition and ACB and stuff like that. So I'll take the Joao Nogueira fight any day.
Awesome, awesome. So, how do you see that fight going between you two?
I just think that he's a guy with really good top game, terrible striking, really wild hands. I'm sure he hits hard, but he won't be able to take me down. Like his top game, I said, is good, but like his wrestling to get there lacks a lot. So like he has a single leg that he likes to use. Doesn't really use a double leg too much. But his single leg is like super weak. Like like he presses me on the cage with a single leg, I'm gonna be spinning out. Like I'm gonna be getting out every time. Like I his like he does well sometimes with his wrestling, but I don't know, like he hasn't fought too many great wrestlers. The Russian guys seem to handle him wrestling pretty well. He's scrappy on the feet, but like he gasses. Like I notice after every grappling exchange, this guy's arms get super heavy, and he starts to drop his hands. And the thing is with me, when I fight people more my size, I'm able to use my striking. And like if you watch my Jimmy Svakusa fight or like my fight with Vince Murdoch or something like that, you can see my striking, and my striking is actually very well for someone who's for whenever I'm fighting someone with a decent reach. And this guy's reach is like not even like anything. Like we're around the same height and everything. So like it's gonna be a terrible night for this guy, man. Like I'm way too fast. And eventually those third, fourth, fifth rounds, everything's gonna start weighing on him. I've seen him get dropped to the body before, and I have a great body shot, some great kicks, and he's gonna start feeling the heat when it comes to those fourth and fifth rounds, third round too even, and then I feel like I'm gonna get a late stoppage in the fight for sure. This guy, he's 33 years old with over 30 fights, so he's a little bit weathered. I'm just young and hungry, and I'm coming up, and I know this is a big opportunity, and I'm gonna make the most of it for sure.
So where do you see yourself at the end of 2018?
2008 and end of 2018, I feel like I could pick up probably three more wins by then, putting me at 10-2, 10-2 with two super controversial losses at 20 years old, or I'll be 21 at the end of the year. Um, being Canadian too, gives me a great like look for the UFC, because the UFC doesn't have too many Canadians or too many young promising Canadians at that point. um, Only 21 years old, like it brings a lot of viewers, and it like could add a lot of hype to them. So like hopefully with two or three more wins, you can see me on that UFC stage for sure.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. I can't wait to see it, man. Well, TJ, I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. I know you got a busy day ahead. I appreciate you stopping by. Before I let you go, what have you been jamming to on the way to the gym or while you're getting your workouts in?
Uh, well, lately I've been actually listening to a lot of country music. To be honest with you, like I don't know why, but it doesn't get me pumped, but it's just like nice to listen to. I don't know. I've been getting into that stuff a lot more.
Country music is good. I like country music as long as you're not listening to like new country music. I guess I don't know. I don't appreciate the new country music, but I like the older stuff. What kind of stuff are you listening to?
I don't even know any of their names, to be honest with you, but the songs are pretty good.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Awesome. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Guys, be sure to tune in when TJ fights to defend his title March 16th at TKO 42 against Joao Nogueira live on UFC Fight Pass.